General Patton, if you look up the word man in the dictionary, you'll see a picture of this guy next to it.
Man?
Yes, because this guy's as manly as it gets. So he was the savage in World War II and a shoo-in to be the president after World War II, you know, because Eisenhower was kind of a pansy. And this guy was the guy who Hitler was afraid of. He's the guy who won all the important battles in World War II.
I love the word pansy, by the way. Yeah. He's just walking around like, okay, wars.
No, it's like Eisenhower's was like that type of mindset. He was this guy's boss, and this guy kind of gave him like a lot of anxiety, but he won all the important battles. And look at the popularity here of like how he was received when he came back. Like, tell me,
this is when Patton came back from where? From
World War II.
From Germany? Okay, go ahead.
On his return, Americans showed their gratitude.
Oh, shit.
In General Pershing's words, it didn't hurt America to have a general so bold that he was dangerous.
Looks like a Nazi outfit. Hugo Boss? Yeah. Hey, are you sure this is him and not Hitler's cousin or something?
Los Angeles went all out in its reception.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming over here,
Dude, look at me.
there was a very great lesson.
Is that him?
Yeah.
The first 4 hours, we passed over a destroyed land. Utterly destroyed.
Utterly.
You who have not seen it do not know what hell looks like from the top. That's what Germany looks like. That Austria looks like. That's what any place that the 8th Air Force and the 3rd Army worked on looks like.
Wow, what a boss. Yeah, all right.
Go to the next one.
Go to the next one? Go to the next clip?
And so this, Bill O'Reilly did like a big time study on this one, and here he goes through the evidence. Of,
Okay, go ahead.
You'd skip to like 20 seconds.
Skip to 20 seconds, Humberto. Humberto's killing it over there, huh?
And it works.
So you said in the book that at first it was reported as a minor fender bender.
Yeah, the Army treated it as just an accident, a car accident, and the general was paralyzed. He went to the hospital. He never came out of the hospital. No autopsy. All the reporting, all the official documents surrounding the death disappeared. All the witnesses on the car that crashed into Patton disappeared.
What?
But the people on the scene, Bill, the people on the scene said the guy who was driving the other car was drunk, that you could smell the strong smell of alcohol.
But he was never taken in. He was never questioned. If he was drunk, why wasn't he arrested?
Wow, great point.
It's just terrible. If the facts that we lay out, and we do call for a reopening of the investigation by the Justice Department today. All right, we want to know what killed this hero, and I certainly do not believe that this was an accident.
Wow, I never even knew that.
Me neither.
I didn't know Bill O'Reilly was a conspiracy theorist either.
Yeah, right.
He's always with the official story.
He is official story.
Cars on the road. Where's the car turning into him? There's nothing there. We walked the road. It's insane.
There's several theories about this, and there's this interesting guy named Doug Bazada.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us about him, because you, in fact, talk about what he said and claimed he had done.
Yes, he was an OSS agent, worked under Wild Bill Donovan.
And received many awards for his action.
And he was
OSS preceded the CIA.
Right, and he was decorated, and he was a hero in World War II. Donovan had a close relationship with Stalin and the Soviet apparatus. Patton didn't like the Russians. He wanted to fight the Russians, all right? Stalin didn't want to fight anymore because the Russian army was severely weakened after World War II.
So that's the essence of all this, is that so after World War II, you know, the next big threat was obviously Russia, and Patton was insisting that we had to keep going and crush Russia, crush Stalin and communism, because he knew it was going to be our biggest threat afterward. But and you know, like I said, he was a shoo-in to be the president, and they knew that if he became president, he was probably gonna, you know, charge ahead and try to crush Russia quickly and swiftly. But instead, you know, he mysteriously dies, and they let the Russia problem fester, and it turns into this 30-year Cold War situation, kind of reminiscent of what happened with NATO. So, you know, the collapse of the Soviet Union, we create this situation where we just keep creeping up to the border of Russia, you know, let them consolidate and gain strength again, and create like a situation where we're agitating them, and you know, create this prolonged situation now.
It's weird. It's weird too because normally you would think like we're all war, and that's why all the problems are right now. It's because people like Trump don't want war, but they're like, come on. But you're saying that they want to prolong the war and have it go like
communism spread and to turn into like the whole Cold, because like more money was spent in the Cold War than would have been spent to like take Russia out and within a year or two and take out the Stalin government.
Of course.
Yeah.
So it's all money making freaking.
And worse than that, so like we let communism grow and spread around the world because of this.
It's almost like we like a manufactured enemy. Just that we know that's never gonna really F with us because we're.
Well, we took out somebody like on like he was kind of like a Trump mindset back in the day, and it looks like they took that guy out to let the thing that they wanted to spread.
Oh, so it's so basically that's deep state shit, conspiracy swamp.
Yeah, because FDR was super communist, and he was dead by this time. But he had filled the government with a bunch of communists as well. So there's a lot of belief that the people in government at that time were like more of the communist mindset than what we are actually trying to go for.
What do you think, Connor?
Well, think of the most anti-communist governments, excuse me, anti-communist governments that existed pre-World War II. Who were they? Wasn't the U.S. Wasn't England. It was Germany and Italy.
Yeah.
Where Italian fascism and the Nazi Party in Germany made communists like their number one enemy. I mentioned a while back that during the war, captured German officers and general enlisted men would describe how they were all under the impression that they were doing everything they were doing to fight Bolsheviks. That people had gone into Russia, caused the communist revolution, and then infiltrated Germany. And that was what caused the Weimar Republic to collapse. They went in thinking they were trying to drive out communists. The fascists in Italy were the same way. Like in a different time period, not during the war. General Franco in Spain was doing the same thing, fighting communist uprisings. So immediately after the war, you've taken out the biggest anti-communist forces in Europe, and the U.S. is a Russian ally. Yeah. We never really got along with them, but we were on the same page, at least in wanting to stop the Nazis from taking over Europe.
Right.
So that would have been the next conflict, like you're saying, and it makes perfect sense. But if in that intervening time, as we saw right after the war, all the communists have suddenly infiltrated the U.S. as well, where they would say, no, we don't want to go to war with the Russians. The Russians are our allies. We're gonna split Berlin with them and continue to hold the threat of lingering Nazism at bay.
Yeah, and the Korean War came after that too.
Exactly. Yeah. Every war since then has been dealing with the consequences of that.
What do you think, Just?
Yeah, and I think it's interesting too because once we have those enemies, the boogeyman of Russia, and have this that we have to the Cold War, like you said, drag it out so they can make as much money. It's interesting then because then it flipped into what the war on terror, which there's no truly defined enemy.
Yeah,
it's just terror. Well, there's always terror. Yeah. Well, we killed Bin Laden. Oh, well, there's a new group, ISIS.
Terror.
ISIL,
what a brilliant idea, huh?
And then they can just keep recycling that and repackage it. And we've seen the evidence of them, sending money to these terrorists and funding both sides of that conflict. So it's just the same story of the military-industrial complex.
And Bush, I'll never forget, Bush Jr. would call them terrorists.
Terrorists.
Not terrorists. Third of terror.
Fool me once.
Yeah. Can I ask a question? We started the segment off with you stating that Eisenhower was a pansy.
Compared to Patton, yes.
Okay,
much.
compared to Patton.
Yeah.
But he also did warn us about the military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
Well, he was an educated
but if
pansy.
he was less of a pansy, he would have done something about it before he left.
Yeah, so
I just wanted to see where you're at on that.
To be fair, though,
my answer.
he had just come out of World War II, and it makes sense why people were not eager to continue.
For pansies.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, have you seen a picture of how Eisenhower sat? It's very
like, hello.
There you go.
So